This morning, Ezra Miller pleaded not guilty to both charges of felony burglary and larceny.
Darrell Brooks cowardly rammed his way through this parade, violently killing and injuring so many people. I ask you to add up the evidence, use the map, 15. You can check off the names. We've covered them all. Walk down that street like we did with you. Return guilty verdicts on all counts. Please.
It was mentioned earlier in this video that the only way any jury would acquit a person under these sorts of circumstances would be if they were doing so just for kicks. And it just so happens that was essentially what Darrell Brooks's game plan boiled down to.
Rules of procedure. It is my job to make sure there's effective and efficient administration of this trial.
So then I should be allowed to, then if that's the case, then I should be allowed to tell the jury what they need to know, which is the truth. That they have the power. They have the power to nullify laws that they don't agree with.
You are absolutely not allowed to tell the jury that. There's a jury instruction that I will have ready to go if you even attempt to raise the issue of jury nullification, sir. You have absolutely no right to raise that. That is clear under the law.
I can raise what I want to raise.
Jury nullification is a rather interesting topic, and one you're very unlikely to hear raised inside of a courtroom. If you ever find yourself sitting on a jury, no matter the case, it's basically a given that at some point the judge will give you an instruction to the effect of, you should reach your decision based on the law, not what you think the law should be. And the reason the court stressed that you cannot just disregard the facts of a case and return whatever verdict accords to your whims is because you absolutely can. The reason for this is that in a jury trial, the jury's verdict is the end of the line. The outcome can't simply be vetoed by the judge, as this would effectively invalidate the entire system, nor can jurors be punished for faulty or non-existent reasoning. So return for a moment to our example of the cookie theft trial, except this time, instead of putting yourself in the defendant's shoes, imagine you're sitting in the jury box. The prosecution put on a stellar presentation implicating the defendant as the culprit. The only thing is, something about the owner of the cookie store really rubs you the wrong way. Maybe he reminds you of a boss you can't stand, or has a smirk that irritates you. It might have come out during the trial that his favorite band is Maroon 5. For whatever reason, you just don't like the guy, and you think the defendant seems pretty chill. None of this is legal grounds for anything, but all the same, when you get back to the jury room, you just go, nah. Well, then that's that. Even if you can't bring your fellow jurors around to your way of thinking, it'll still be a hung jury resulting in a mistrial, and the state's probably not going to try to start from scratch again. We're talking about stolen biscuits here. God knows how things even went this far in the first place. Whether jury nullification is a bug or a feature of the justice system depends on one's worldview. But regardless, attorneys are absolutely forbidden from bringing its existence.
I have a surprise for you.
I have a surprise for you.
What? Let's say it at the same time.
Okay, 3, 2...
to the attention of a jury, and any who would dare try would be on a fast track to disbarment. But Darrell Brooks, of course, is not an attorney, and that reality posed a real problem to the court in the lead up to his closing argument.
So this is your opportunity to provide your closing argument to the jury. Please start. I've started the timer of 1 hour.
I'm informed of that, Your Honor, but I'm not ready to proceed as I don't understand the reason why the questions asked before the jury was present were not answered. Did you inform
They will be
jury?
informed of the law.
Did you inform them that they can
Mr.
nullify the law?
Mr. Brooks, you do not have that right to request that. And
Were
I'm
they
advising
informed?
you one more time, this is your opportunity to provide your closing argument. Please begin.
I intend to when ready. I just want to know if the jury was informed that they can nullify the law.
All right, I'm going to excuse the jury.
They should know that they have the power.
Please rise for the jury. Time has now come for you to present a closing argument. There will be no further delays. I will not be taking any further adjournments.
I'm going to let them know.
That's another interruption.
No, I'm going to let them know that they have rights and they should be told, informed of the truth. It's not me
Are
trying
you
to
telling
give.
me, sir, that
it's
you are
not
going
trying
to
to give.
let me ask you a
No,
question.
hello. I'm not trying to give any
Sir, you're
jury
interrupting
instruction.
me.
Your Honor, how can I not inform them that they have a power? How can
Because
I
that
not
is not a
inform
right
them of a
that
power
you
that
have.
they have? Issue.
Mr.
It
Brooks,
never was brought up.
if you
But
think
then when I
wasn't-
raised the issue,
if you
Your Honor, let
think
me
that
finish.
I'm not prepared to deal with and argue on jury nullification,
say-
then you
that's not what I said. Here we
you
go
can
with this.
roll your eyes at me
Because
all
it's,
you want.
it's ridiculous, Your Honor. Under what lawful law?
Under State versus Anthony.
It doesn't refer to that.
But the reasoning,
You just said it right there.
nonetheless,
But you can't practice law from the bench.
sir, I'm
You
not
can't do
practicing
that.
law from the bench.
You are. If you're changing, Your Honor,
I'm not
you're
making-
attempting to make
Are you willing to make a closing argument, sir, that does not reference jury nullification?
I'm going to inform the jury of their
I
powers.
am in creating a rule for your closing argument that you may not raise the issue of jury nullification in any way. That is the rule
I
for
vehemently
your
object to
closing
that.
argument.
Vehemently object to that.
You're-
For the record, may I request a legal or factual basis for your ruling?
You will forfeit your right
You can't
to
do that.
Present a closing
Under what
argument.
lawful law can you?
And then if you continue to interrupt
Under what
me,
lawful law?
you will be removed to the other courtroom as I complete
So I'm being
the
held in
instructions.
contempt again. Is it civil or criminal?
All right. Go ahead.
I apologize. May I ask the court to consider perhaps an alternative? We all know the defendant in his petulance will say jury nullification in the first 3 seconds the jury's in the room.
Objection to that.
Proper
I don't
thing
think
to
that
do,
I
I
should be
think,
talked
Your
down.
Honor.
Stop interrupting
I don't
Attorney
think I
Hopper,
should be
please.
talked down to.
Allow him to make his closing arguments. I will object if he misstates the law. You can instruct the jury to disregard any misstatements of the law. And if it becomes to the point where there's no credible argument that's being made, then the court can decide as to whether or not he's forfeited his right to a closing argument. Try that or something similar to that in an effort to get through this next step, or else we will continue at this pace forever.
I'm certainly willing to try that.
And so try that they did. And just as Sue Opper predicted,
You have the power to nullify any law that you don't agree with.
Objection, move to strike the statement.
Sustain.
Objection.
I will strike from the record the last statement made by the defendant. The jury will
Which is-
disregard it.
Which is clearly what I've been saying.
so kind of an anticlimax really, setting the tone for the rest of Brooks's presentation, which may have been the most hollow, unmoving speech ever committed to tape.
It's hard to keep everything together emotionally. And honestly, I don't believe that I have any more tears left. It's been a hard year. So I go back to trying to wrap my head around everything that's happened in the last year. Praying for those families, praying for the people that tragically lost their life, because that should not be lost either. The fact that there was lives lost, and all the emphasis has been put on the alleged defendant, makes me wonder, does the DA even care about those people? I'm happy to say that my conscience is clear. I believe in your heart you know what's right. Thank you.
Do you have a